All right, 8:15, a small Chinese fishing village is now home to a new state-of-the-art school thanks to Global Volunteers. The nonprofit organization backs service projects in 20 countries. Volunteers work side by side with local people on community development projects. And joining us is Shelia Johnson, who is our Global Volunteer of the Month. Welcome.
Good morning. Thank you.
Now, you live in St. Paul. You're a speech pathologist,
yes, I
understand. And
yes.
that's the type of work that you were doing in China and working with some of the college students. Let's first talk about the school in Anshang. This is a brand new facility. Were you teaching at this school?
Yes, it's a year-old school that Global Volunteers helped build. And it had been dedicated
there it is.
A year ago. Yes, it is beautiful. But the school kids go there, too. So it brings all the students from the whole area, and they go to elementary school there all the way up through junior high. But it's so big and so open that there was room for any of the other programs. So we were using the upper levels.
Describe the village where the school is located and the people. What are they like? There's a shot now of Shang?
Anshang.
Anshang.
Yes, An is the clan name, and Shang is the location. So it's the village of An. The culture is incredible. The people were so friendly. And that's winter wheat that you see there in the front. And it's actually a very prosperous village. I think Global Volunteers has had something to do with that by bringing in lots of people and lots of opportunities for the villagers to help get money from being part of the program, too.
Now, the students, we talked yesterday, you're saying that they craved American
yes.
culture. They wanted to know. Here
yes.
were some of the students that you taught. What were some of the questions? They had so many questions that they fired off at you.
They did. They wanted to know anything they could about American culture, education. They were very interested in what it would be like to be a 20 or 21-year-old American student. So they wanted to know what that life would be like, what the future would be like if they lived here. What would they have for a house, for a car? They wanted to know about travel. They craved the ability to travel. That's very hard. I'm not sure if it's just the difficulty that they have with getting visas or the expense of it, too.
And what kind of exposure have they had to American culture?
Unfortunately, as we talked about, that was limited. Their TV that they see is Sex and the City. So, you know, that's not exactly...
Of all things, I mean, that show especially.
So they have a very skewed view of American culture as it is. They get a little bit of exposure to sports. They love basketball. I think that has something to do with the fact that Yao Ming, you know, is such a big basketball player here in this country.
Right, absolutely. And in fact, I understand that you had a visitor from Minnesota while you were there,
yes.
and that was a surprise.
That was.
Governor Carol Moldow, there she is.
She was.
And she sprung a question about basketball players.
Actually, no, she had asked the students for just general questions, and they were giving her questions about education in Minnesota, farming in Minnesota, and then one of the students stood up and said, do you think that the Timberwolves need a new coach? And is Kevin Garnett getting enough support on it? And everybody in the whole delegation from Minnesota cracked up. Because of all places to get questions about Minnesota basketball in the middle of a farming village way in interior China.
Yeah, well, so, I'll bet. And the experience for you was
it was incredible. I still get emails from the students. That's one of the wonderful things about the internet, is that we still have contact. And they still email me and tell me what's going on and ask questions about it. I think they really appreciated having that contact with a real group of real Americans.
Yeah, and it's a great way to volunteer your time if you're not really into the physical kind of labor. This is another great way
yes.
to reach out
yes.
across the globe. All right. Well, Shelia Johnson, such a pleasure having you on
Thank
today
you very
and having you tell your story.
Yes, wonderful organization. I really enjoyed it, my experience.
And if you are interested in becoming a global volunteer, you can just log on to globalvolunteers.org.